That's fine. Hello and good evening. How are you doing today?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing pretty well. I'm doing pretty well. My name is Dr. Cameron, Joshua Cameron, and you decided to come and see me. Well, I had some people come in. They told me that you wanted to see me, but also that you may have been, told to come here. Do you want to tell me a little about that?
Yeah, so my previous therapist was moving to a new kind of area of uh, San Francisco, and so it just wasn't really working for us to see each other anymore. So they recommended that I try and find someone new.
Okay, that's good. That's good. How long were you seeing your previous therapist?
Um, Probably about 7 years.
7 years. Wow, it's a long time to be in the field. Which is good. It gives you a lot of experience, gives you a lot of things to talk about when you come in here. Do you have anything on your mind today that you want to discuss?
Um, I think I feel a bit anxious just about a new environment. Um, I've been seeing him so long. I'm used to him.
Okay. I don't think I caught that last part. You said you're getting used to the new lifestyle or used to him. I thought I mentioned.
I was used to him, so it's a bit new for me to be
Oh, I
there.
see. I see. It's a very safe space. Hopefully, you can become comfortable talking about some issues with me. Before we get more into the session, I want to get some basic information first. Your full name is Adrian Monk, correct?
But
Okay. And you were born
in 1959,
1959. I see. And you identify as male, uh, Caucasian. I remember seeing a few things about your marital status. I believe my form says that you were widowed, correct?
yes.
Okay. Did you and what was your previous therapist's name?
Dr. Fisher.
Dr. Fisher. Did you and Dr. Fisher discuss much about your your widow?
Yeah, we talked about it a lot. It was a pretty traumatic event in my life, so we spent a lot of time working through it, and a lot of my compulsions got more intense after Trudy died.
Compulsions. I see. And how would you describe these compulsions?
Um, I I get very anxious if things aren't fully put together. So I like things to be very orderly and put a certain way, and it very much bothers me if something in the house is crooked, or if my assistant leaves some garbage out on the countertop, or if there aren't even the right amount of ice cubes in my drink. O2. I also just don't like bacteria at all, and I have a few phobias that all kind of get in the way of, or people tell me it gets in the way of me living a life that's normal.
Tell me more about what you consider a normal life.
Um, I guess one where small things don't bother me. I I I don't mind my compulsions so much, but a lot of people who I work with complain about them. And my assistant Natalie has to do a lot for me to help me acclimate to certain situations.
Would you say that your assistant Natalie is successful in this regard in helping you feel more safe?
Yeah, sometimes she makes me do things I don't want to do, but yeah, I like her a lot. I consider her a friend.
That's good. Now, these things that you don't want to do, can you elaborate more on that?
Um, I don't like to touch things that are dirty. Like, say, when I'm working on a case with the police, I have to, Natalie will hand me like gloves or napkins to touch things, or I'll have her move things or adjust a picture on a wall or something like that. Lots of things that I see around me that don't feel orderly bother me a lot, and I have a hard time focusing.
Mm, I see. So it seems, if I'm hearing this correctly, that the issue is both that you're having the compulsion, but also that the compulsion distracts you from other things. Is that right?
Yeah, I think my compulsion gets in the way because I feel like I need to do certain things in order to interact with people or a situation. But also, the OCD itself is the fact that it does bother me so much if I don't react.
To kind of just backtrack a little bit, when your wife passed, before your wife passed, I should say, how were these compulsions in the same way? Did you still feel the need to carry them out? Still feel them as a distraction?
Yeah, I still had some compulsions. Like, say, one thing is I didn't really like my food to touch, and so my wife would separate the foods so they're not touching on a plate and things like that, where she was helpful, but there weren't as many things that would bother me, and they increased and like made me more anxious. After Trudy, I just got more anxious in general.
I see. Seems as though you always have someone there to kind of help you through these compulsive moments. You had Trudy before, now Natalie, which is a good thing. You have somebody to support you.
Yeah.
It's good. Um, what about phobias? You mentioned that you maybe have some phobias around certain things. Were they
uh,
as prevalent before?
yeah, they were prevalent. I think they didn't bother me as much, but I think with my general anxiety aroused after Trudy died, um, just from a state of shock, that everything felt more severe.
I see. Well, um, having dealt with loss myself, I can tell you that it's a very normal reaction to feel that initial sense of that wave of emotion and not physical pain, but it feels mental. That's very normal, which I'm sure your previous Dr. Fisher may have mentioned as well. A few more, uh, some basic questions. You currently stay in San Francisco. Is that where you were born?
I was born in Marin County, just outside San Francisco.
Okay. How do you like San Francisco?
I like it a lot. It can be dirty, but
I
I like
have that. You were raised mom and dad.
Yeah, I my dad left when I was 13. Um, so I was mainly raised by my mother. She was a bit distant, but she was still loving. But I had to, when I was a kid, just kind of hold the family together sometimes after my dad left, and would help a lot with cooking meals and doing shoppings and things, more so than my older brother.
How did you feel having that responsibility?
Um, I felt like there was always a lot of pressure on me to have things to be kind of like a structure system for the family and to keep things in place, whether it was cleaning the house or like making sure a bill was paid after talking with my mom, or just keeping the family going. Like a lot of pressure from a young age.
A lot of pressure to keep things organized and neat and in a certain way.
Yeah, less so in the way that it feels now, but the same expectations.
Were those expectations ever explicitly stated, or you felt their presence?
I felt like if I didn't do it, then it might not happen. It wasn't so much that I was told to do it.
See. Going on into high school, the highest grade you completed. What is that?
I graduated high school. I actually went to college at Berkeley.
Oh, that's very impressive.
Thank you.
Did you like school?
I did like school. I didn't have very many friends, but I felt like I did well. I was just often alone studying a lot.
I see. In what state did being alone, did it make you focus more? Did it kind of distract you because you wanted to be with other people?
I think it did help me to focus more. I have never had great relationships or had many friends. And sometimes I was bullied a lot. So um, I think it was better for me to be on my own sometimes.
More of a safety thing, just so that way you weren't around as many people.
I guess so.
What would you agree with that, or what would you say?
I think sometimes it was a preference to be alone, but I think that it could be because when I did interact with people, it didn't seem to go well often.
I see. And that seems to have followed a pattern later on in life, that these excuse me, that these compulsions would also cause people to ostracize you, leading you to want to fix them. I see. Does that sound right?
Yeah, that does sound right.
Okay. Now, at this age, did you have anyone like a Natalie or a Trudy around to kind of help you navigate these social waters?
Not really, no. I had my older brother, but he wasn't very involved, but I did meet Trudy in college.
Okay. How did that first interaction go with her?
She actually, so a different guy in the library asked for her number, and I was standing there, and I had just been having a first conversation with her, and she asked if she could, well, she went to write the phone number on a piece of paper for the guy, and I offered for her to use my back. And she wrote it on my back, using my back as like a hard piece to write the paper on. I was able to figure out what the number was, and I called her later.
How did she respond when you called her?
Well, I had to tell her who it was first. Of course. She knew my name, but she didn't know that I would be calling her.
Right.
And I was able to get her to go on a date with me, and we talked some more in college, and then we reconnected later.